assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, ishpata.
Bakhair Agale, Ni Hao, Chune Shumme, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Ola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifa Hal, Hale Shuma Chotore, Ahlan Wasalan, Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabi, Bhalli Kare Aaya. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World this morning, alongside the very fantastic, the very superb, the very talented, the very warm-hearted person, and a person who's very compassionate, dedicated about her work as well. She happens to be, yeah, but before I say that, before I say her name, ladies and gentlemen, Juma Mubarak, and she happens to be Shiza Hashmi. Hello, Shiza. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I'm absolutely good. Thank you so much for the kind words. Yet again, as I always say, they definitely mean a lot to anyone actually. Whoever you say kind words to, they take
wonderful.
it, forward for the entire day. So then I'll try to do that too. So here's my compliment to you. You're a great co-anchor, and I feel like without your support, I wouldn't be here.
Wow, that's wonderful. You just completed my life right in front of my eyes as well. Thank you very much for such a wonderful compliment. And ladies and gentlemen, as we have spoken about it before as well, so today we are going to reiterate upon this, and that is that obviously compliments will always make a difference. You know, anybody or anyone kind of coming up to you and be like, hey, you know what, you're looking great today.
Yeah.
You know, it just gives you an energy. It gives you a very different sort of boost as well. And you start, all of a sudden, you know, the moment you receive that compliment, you start to love yourself as well. But before we kind of speak about it, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have to head out towards a short break.
Let's do
Don't
it.
go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like we really had to take this short break. First of all, maybe for you guys to go get your coffees and chais, and also for us to take a breather. But okay, before we move any forward, Shahzad, I have a story to share with you and actually all of you out there as
Go
well.
ahead.
So for all of you who might have read The Dawn, you know about it, but here's the thing. So we take a similar road, Shahzad and I, whenever we come to work, and there are
Even today.
Yeah, and there are 2 to 3 people over there who I do have a habit of sort of, seeing, putting my window down and sort of greeting them every time I come in. So those particular people are beggars for that reason. And here's the thing, in Islamabad, federal capital especially, and also in Pindi at some areas, beggars are not allowed to be on roads anymore because I mean, the government did realize and people did realize it's actually a business. They're literally not poor people belonging to poor segments of the society. It's sort of their hobby now, and it's now also a large mafia system or a business.
Can I add over here? I know that you actually have a story to share as well.
Okay.
And this is something which I have certainly noticed as well. Because what happens is not just on the Magla roads, so there are 3-4 faces which you're going to see every single day. So, I go to my gym in the parking, there are 3-4 kids, I will see them every day as well. And every day when I see them, I'm like, yeah, you know what, every day, alhamdulillah, there are people out there who are actually kind of giving away whatever they want to, whatever they wish to kind of spend on them as well. But even then, their life's not changing. They're here every single day. They're not saving. They're not starting up their own businesses. They're not kind of looking forward to getting out of this very circle. So which obviously means to an extent that, that there's, that's what they want to do. And because it gets them easy money, that's everybody's hook too as well.
I swear, I feel like they've gotten used to it. So coming back to what I was going to say, and you're absolutely right in where you said that things don't get better for them. You know what? So in Multan, recently FBR sort of recognized a person who took millions of rupees, Shazad,
Really?
to a bank, and that person was a beggar. And by beggar, you mean for more than 20 years he's been on those streets of Multan, begging in the same way that he does. And then, of course, there was an investigation on him, and the FBI found out that that person, all of his kids go to A-list schools.
Wow.
They are millionaires in terms of cash, because they never opened a bank account, and all his, earnings by begging whatsoever have become a lot of money, and he never paid the taxes, so now he's in trouble.
Oh my God.
Okay, I hope first of all things get easy for him. But the entire issue with this story, Shazad and I have, is this business, know, how sort of what they've made of it. It's literally, first of all, not fair to the people who are needy, who are deserving. And secondly, it's not fair to the people that you misuse on the roads, who actually do give out money to you, or their sadqa or khairat to you, considering that it is legit, you are the right person or the appropriate person. I feel like it's unfair to both the sides.
Exactly,
right?
and I think that the name of the beggar was Shaukat Bhikari as well, and so he's under scrutiny now, and everybody who are actually kind of looking for easier means of money should actually be dealt according to the rule of law as well.
But
not just that.
Yeah, Bhikari
No,
becoming a
okay,
millionaire.
so this was a
I mean,
1.7 million
mashallah.
rupees of deposit into the bank, where FBR kind of noticed that, hey, you know what, all of a sudden there's this gentleman, which is, I mean, FBR did a great job.
Yeah.
But imagine there was this family of beggars somewhere in Gujranwala or Gujarat, who for their son's wedding has actually booked, limousines and a helicopter which was throwing money as well. So that was on the news. So people,
Wow, I mean,
I think I should actually refer to it in Urdu as well, so that a lot of people can get that message that a lot of people over here are very safed posh. They're very respectable, and even if they're in need of money, they will never ask you. Which is why Hazrat Ali alayhi salam actually kind of quotes and says that, once if you happen to be a friend of someone and you cannot realize by just looking at them that whether they need help or not, you're not really a good friend of theirs. So please make sure that you look around in your family, because they are the first ones to kind of receive any sort of help. Your extended family, your mamas, puppies, chachus, tayas, everybody. And then obviously, out there on the street, if you feel like giving it because you're giving it in the way of Allah, please make sure that you do that.
definitely, and I feel that's
Because
beautiful.
that act of giving, ladies and gentlemen, has actually even saved a lot of lives. And this is something which we want to talk about today.
Yeah, and this also reminds me, so recently there was a taxpayer recognition award going on in the presidency, and President Saab said in his speech that so Pakistanis have such a big heart when it comes to being philanthropists. Khairat, they will do a lot. Taxes, they won't. So, I mean, it was funny in a way, because he did realize that. And he sort of commended Pakistanis for being so open-hearted. And yes, we happen to be, and we're really proud to say that we happen to be one of the most philanthropist nations in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, Shazad, can I take you back to when the first ever campaign started in Pakistan for, treating cancer generally, and then it actually became an entire movement, and now a hospital or services for people to be treated freely, whoever's going through cancer.
Exactly.
So what am I talking about?
Exactly.
Without
So,
giving it
before
away?
we kind of give it away as well, ladies and gentlemen, the entire credit, the 100% credit actually goes to our Premier, Mr. Imran Khan as well. Because once he started onto this campaign, and which was because of his mother as well, late mother, and he thought that, there was no cancer facility, and that a cancer facility really needs to be built, and that too for free. So Mr. Imran Khan actually used to go visit the places, go to house by house, and then there were people, probably giving everything they had to Mr. Imran Khan Sahab as well, and a lot of respect has been earned, and a lot of lives have been saved as well.
Definitely.
But since it's October, Shiza, and you're wearing a very beautiful pink dupatta today.
Thank
My
you.
pink ribbon is here. So what are we precisely talking about?
All right, so Pinktober, we know it, right? Ever since this month started, Shazad and I have been talking about it, breast cancer awareness.
Yep.
We love to bring the information to you alongside learning ourselves as well. So before this month ends, we felt like, it would be super, super appropriate to actually be in conversation with one of the largest facilities in Pakistan as well, and sort of ask them, first of all, the prevalent conditions of breast cancer in Pakistan, the kind of services they're bringing to people suffering from cancer now,
Yep.
and also if they're expanding or not, because we'd love to be, first of all, we'd love to be a platform to raise awareness, and then we'd love all of you to come together and help, of course.
Exactly. And yes, Shizad, they are expanding, ladies and gentlemen. We are definitely talking about Shaukat Khan Memorial Cancer Hospital as well. Or probably we are talking about Shaukat Khan Memorial trust as well. And obviously, that's the umbrella. When it opens up, there are other subsidiaries down there as well. There's a research center and a facility. But imagine, so just a few days ago, not even few days ago, I think it was probably a year ago, that my sister texted me, and she was like that, that we really need to, because the message used to come out that, eent lagaye, sawab kamaye. It was something like that. And so the entire family sat down, Abu, Ammi, and everybody, all of us kids, and then we were like, you know what, we really need to kind of do that because it's Sadqa Jariya. And you're obviously preparing yourself for the life hereafter. So we did that, alhamdulillah, and Shaukat Khanam, ladies and gentlemen, is now expanding in Karachi as well, which will be one of the biggest cancer facilities. Will be treating patients for free. Not every patient is treated for free, and it's because of the fact that there are people who can afford to get their treatment, and then there are people who cannot really afford to do that.
Right.
I've been to Shaukat Khanam Cancer Hospital myself in Lahore for my certain different tests, because I happen to have been going through one of the cancers, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, but alhamdulillah, I'm doing good. And the facility is fantastic, it's fabulous, it's reliable, and whenever you go, the way they greet you, you're like, okay, I think that, I'm in safe hands as well.
Oh.
So they have built like, it's going to be a 9-story building over there in Karachi. They have built the 4-story grey structure, and they're still contributing to it, and they're still kind of focusing on that. But ladies and gentlemen, today I think it's an honor for us to kind of be in conversation with somebody who actually happens to be the Chief Executive Officer of Shaukat Khanam Hospital, and he, ladies and gentlemen, happens to be Dr. Muhammad Asim Yusuf. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Walaikum salam. Thank you. I'm very well. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. We're really very sorry for a long introduction, but we kind of took our time to kind of come back to the topic. But sir, thank you very much. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to actually have hosted you over here as well. But to get started, I think first things first, let's talk about Pinktober. Let's talk about breast cancer, because Pakistan actually happens to be amongst one of those Asian countries where the ratio of breast cancer is quite high. So let's talk about that.
That's right, yes. We have one of the highest incidences of breast cancer in the whole world, and second highest in Asia, as you've said. Each year at our own hospitals in Lahore and Peshawar, breast cancer is the commonest cancer we treat.
All right.
In females, obviously, and one of the commonest overall. It's estimated that there are around 175,000 new cancers developing in Pakistan each year.
Okay.
And unfortunately, people tend to present so late that between 60 and 80% of those patients will die within the year of diagnosis. Of those, it's estimated that about 40,000 are females with breast cancer.
All right. And why do you think, sir, it's very important for all of us to kind of raise awareness about breast cancer specifically?
Right, yeah. So I think that's the critical point that we're here to discuss today. I think that breast cancer in its early stages is a completely curable disease.
All right.
So if it's picked up early,
100%.
almost 100%, yeah, 99, 100% in very early stages. Whereas that same disease, if it progresses to stage 3 or 4, by the time the patient presents to the doctor, cure rates are about 20%.
All right.
So really, early diagnosis, awareness about breast cancer, early diagnosis and early treatment are the key to a cure.
Exactly, and
Well,
that's
thank
wonderful.
you so much for saying that, and I think yes, we have been advocating about it in a way that self-diagnosis, we have actually sort of explained through graphics as well how to go about it, because it's so common, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know. I mean, people around us must be having it, and like Dr. Sab already mentioned, it's usually detected at a later stage as well, and that is when it's not really curable anymore. We have a small report on breast cancer itself, and with all the stats and figures of Pakistan too. Let's take a look at it, and when we come back, we will still be talking about Shaukat Khanam and its services. Let's do it.
Awareness surrounding breast cancer is incredibly important, as early detection, often thorough screening, can catch the disease when it is most treatable. According to some research, patients are experiencing better outcomes as a result of early diagnosis, state-of-the-art treatment options, and less extensive surgery. Samina Alvi, who's leading an extensive awareness campaign throughout the month of October, urged upon women to remain wary and consult doctor for clinical examination. In 2020, there were 2.3 million women diagnosed with breast cancer globally. As far as Pakistan is concerned, around 36,000 cases among women were reported in 2020, out of which 13,000 women died. 1 in every 9 women in Pakistan is likely to suffer in her lifetime. Breast cancer continues to be the highest reported malignancy at Shaukat Khana Memorial Cancer Hospital and Research Centers. Over the past 2 decades, SKMT has organized a number of awareness activities and has fought breast cancer on multiple fronts, including education, training of healthcare professionals, research and state-of-the-art treatment facilities for all patients. Irrespective of their ability to pay, Shaukat Khana Memorial Trust is expanding its services to be able to provide treatment to more cancer patients. Awareness surrounding breast cancer is
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a comprehensive report and a better understanding on how things are and how bad they can get, God forbid, if we are not going to spread awareness or we are not going to go to the doctor and get it treated. Because over here in Pakistan, we have this habit, unfortunately, oh yaar kuch bhi nahi hai, oh yaar
Theek
kuch
ho
bhi nahi hai. You
jayega.
know, so you know, whenever we kind of come across a lump or anything, or even if we are ill, these days even people, even if they have flu, they're not going for their dengue test, or probably, you know, if they have temperature, they're not going for their dengue test. So please make sure that's one thing. But sir, you know, we keep on saying that, oh, you know, it's very common, it's very common, it's very common. But why is it common? And do you think that there are some lifestyle modifications, if made or if adopted, we can probably, you know, kind of get away from it being very common?
Yeah. So breast cancer is a multifactorial disease. There isn't just one cause.
All right.
And in many patients, we don't know what the cause is in that individual patient. But research has shown some commonalities. So we know that women who are overweight
All right.
have a higher risk of breast cancer.
Okay.
Women who have longer exposure to their own hormones
Okay.
have a higher risk.
All right.
Women who don't breastfeed have a higher risk. So breastfeeding is, apart from its many other benefits, also protects against breast cancer.
Yep.
And because we are a research center, we've done a lot of basic science research on breast cancer, and we've discovered some novel genetic mutations in the Pakistani population, which are not the commonest cause, but in a certain proportion of patients, those are common. And that risk is amplified or enhanced by the fact that we have a very high incidence of cousin marriages,
Oh yeah.
multi-generational cousin
True,
marriages,
true.
you know, parents, grandparents are all cousins. And so if you have that gene, the likelihood that it will affect you is higher when you get it from both your parents because they're related themselves.
Exactly. And you know, I might have to say it on a very lighter note as well, because when Khala's son is actually not doing anything, I mean, they finally look for Pupa's ki beti or probably somebody other than that.
But you know, it's
I mean, that's what it is, and it's a fact, and this is why most of the cousin marriages take place, because the boy wasn't doing anything, and they only thought that, okay, you know, मैं अपनी बहन की बेटी से या इसके बेटे से, you know, I'm going to get my son or daughter married. But please, ladies and gentlemen, it's for your awareness, it's for your betterment, it's for the betterment of your future generations as well. So please make sure that you kind of put your head through that and kind of prepare your children to do good in life, inshallah.
And you know, this is what actually I was going to say, Dr. Saab. Now, this particular cause, I'm pretty sure it must be one of the leading causes of breast cancer in Pakistan. But we can't, I mean, culturally and socially, we can't fight it. So let's rather talk about the risks that can be reduced. I mean, are there some things that we can do to actually minimize the effect or actually the, again, risk of having it at all?
Yeah.
Yes. So one thing is that we can optimize our weight.
Okay, okay.
Exercise.
Do you think that's a major factor?
That's a significant risk factor. It's
Okay.
not necessarily the single most important thing. The most important thing is probably the hormonal duration of exposure, which again you can't necessarily control.
Yeah.
But
You
spacing.
might not even know, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Spacing of pregnancies, breastfeeding is something one can do. These things protect. But you know, we need to come back again and again to the fact that early diagnosis and self-examination, which I think you've talked about,
Right.
mammography, those are the important things that we need to do so that we detect it early so that it's curable.
Right, and I think you, since you've been dealing with this particularly and working with Shaukat Khana for so long as well, would you say that talking about breast cancer or getting treated or getting diagnosed is still a stigma or a taboo here?
Well, I think you and your colleagues over the last quarter of a century have helped tremendously with that. When we started this work at Shaukat Khana more than a quarter of a century ago,
Yes.
you couldn't talk about breast cancer on TV. It was a
Now
complete
we can,
stigma and a
yes.
taboo, you know. Now the media has helped tremendously in doing that. Social media helps too, obviously. So, and I think over the last 25 years, we have seen some reduction or some early stage migration, as we call it, that more people are presenting at an earlier stage. Not in huge numbers, but there has been a reduction in the stage at which people present. In other words, they're presenting earlier. And cure rates are also improving. So there is definite benefit from this, but we've still got a long way to go.
And sir, let me be very honest, you know, that God forbid if I ever actually came into your office or probably, you know, to get myself clinically checked out, I think it will be a great conversation because the way you speak, it just calms my heart as well. So I think you're a great professional, Alhamdulillah. But one more thing, so that is that because a lot of men are going to take it, otherwise that it only happens with women, but it happens with men as well, which is very rare, but it does happen. Now, so okay, how do we kind of keep a check on ourselves as well that God forbid if we are developing this disease or not? And then if we find something which is suspicious, what do you think we should do?
Right, okay. If I could just touch on the men aspect just very quickly. You're right, it can affect anyone with breast tissue, and men also have breast tissue. It's much less common, but it's exactly the same and exactly the same deadliness as breast cancer in females. And part of the message of breast cancer awareness is aimed at men, because we want men to be sensitized to this too, so that if they have a female member of their family, they immediately seek help for her if she has a problem. Now, how do we detect it? We detect it by between the ages of 18 and 40. All females should do a breast self-examination once a month using their own hands and just palpate their breast to see if there's any lump or skin discoloration, dimpling, any abnormal discharge, anything like that should prompt immediate review by a doctor. The important thing is not to ignore it, not to be scared of it, as you were saying, or just burying your head in the sand that it'll go away. It won't. And it must be checked.
Exactly.
After the age of 40, every female should have an annual mammogram, which is a special kind of X-ray of the breasts, which detects lumps. And the idea of this is to detect lumps before they're clinically evident.
And sir, do we have the facility of mammograph in almost every city and villages, rural and urban areas,
Probably
everywhere?
not in villages, but most major cities, certainly. I think it would be unlikely that anyone's more than 100
So
miles
it's not like
away
one
from
of
a
those
mammogram.
technologies which is very rare to find.
No, it's not a PET CT. It's much more commonly available, and it's essentially a modification of an X-ray. So it's
How
very
about Shaukat
high-tech
Khanum then?
equipment. So Shaukat Khanum obviously does have mammography. We also have mobile mammography services. So we have a bus which does mobile mammography, which we send out to colleges and other places. We have mammography facilities in Lahore, in the hospital and in other diagnostic centers, as well as in Peshawar.
Wow. So, you know, talking about this mobile service, so, I mean, the mobile service will only be within the city where the hospital is, or it can go anywhere?
It's on a bus, so technically
nearby
it can go
rural
anywhere.
areas.
Currently, the bus is in Peshawar, actually, at our hospital there, so it does move around.
I think that's beautiful, and people really need to take advantage of that as well. Yeah, you have a question, I know.
Yes, so I was just wondering, and I think we should appreciate over here as well, how when you call anyone lately, the caller tune also talks about breast cancer awareness, and also in Urdu especially, because, well, phone calls everyone makes, right? And we're probably trying to reach masses over here. It's a great message. Congratulations on the new branch that is inshallah going to open in 2023 in Karachi. Let's talk about it. What are you planning with that?
Right, so that is going to be our third and biggest cancer hospital. It's in fact going to be Pakistan's largest tertiary care cancer hospital. Tertiary care implies that we have all the facilities for both diagnosis as well as treatment, so chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, and also palliative care.
Oh, wow.
So when
important.
cancer is no longer curable or when disease progresses in a minority, then end-of-life care, symptomatic care. So the paradigm encompasses the whole spectrum of care.
Brilliant.
So we have that in Lahore and in Peshawar, and because Karachi is the biggest city of Pakistan, it's the commercial hub, we decided that our third and biggest hospital should be there. It will serve not only Karachi, but also Sindh and southern Balochistan.
Nice.
It's aimed to be exactly twice the size of the Lahore hospital, so it's really huge.
Wow.
Lahore is built on 500,000 square feet. This is a million square feet, 10 lakh square feet. And all the facilities are also twice as much. So we have 200 beds in Lahore, 470 in Karachi, 5 radiation machines in Lahore, 10 in Karachi, state-of-the-art machinery for both diagnosis and treatment.
Which
ICUs.
makes me question as well, please, while you complete this, do add on to it as well. Does this all run on donations? Because that's the concept we have of Shaukat Khanum.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier the philanthropy of the Pakistani nation. We are a very generous nation in terms of charity. So yes, the hospital in Lahore, subsequently the hospital in Peshawar, and inshallah this hospital are built by the support of the Pakistani people.
Wow.
Our budget this year for the 2 hospitals in Lahore is 19 billion rupees.
19 billion
19
rupees
billion.
for 2 hospitals.
For 2 hospitals.
Amazing.
Because we treat more than 75% of our patients.
And it's the
completely
operation cost we're talking about.
Correct. And that is 55% of that is raised through charity, zakat and donations. And of that zakat and donations, 30% comes from the Pakistani diaspora overseas. I'm sure many of them are watching.
Yeah.
So, they've always been very supportive. The budget for the Karachi hospital is an additional 16.4 billion rupees, spread over 3 years.
Wow.
But, we have no doubt that as the nation has always supported us, they will continue to do so.
Definitely.
Because they know, they believe
Transparency.
Yeah.
that, our systems are transparent, they're based on merit, and we do indeed treat all the patients free that we say we do.
Exactly. And sir, in addition to that, obviously it's wonderful, and the entire nation kind of comes together to kind of congratulate, because the kind of services being provided to everyone who's out there, because there are people who cannot afford. But what's the criteria? If somebody's watching today, who can actually go in Shaukat Khanum and get a free treatment? Sorry.
No problem. So you said 75% of them are being treated
Yes.
freely.
Yeah.
So what is that criteria?
So we have walk-in clinics in Lahore, Peshawar and Karachi. Anyone can go anyone with a suspicion or a diagnosis of cancer can go to these clinics and be assessed by our doctors. Their results are reviewed, and if they fulfill our criteria for acceptance, they are accepted for treatment from there.
All right.
There's no question about whether they can pay for it or not. It's just based on disease stage. And the decision on whether to accept is based on our ability to treat. If it's a tumor that we have capacity for, that we have the doctors for, the equipment for, the drugs for, then they'll be taken.
Oh, wow.
And the financial assessment comes later. If someone says they can't pay, they're adjudged suitable for supported treatment with zakat or donations, then they get free treatment. And that's a one-time assessment.
Okay.
And thereafter, all their treatment will be free throughout, and that may last years.
So basically treatment comes first, and then later we can discuss if you're eligible or
Correct.
not. And
Correct.
I feel like that's such a good approach. And this is why, I mean, this model works in Pakistan, in a country like Pakistan as well. This is why it works, right?
It does.
First of all, how you did mention in a very fair way where your donations are going to go in the future, buildings and infrastructure, whatnot. This does build a sort of trust among the people, and this trust is more than 2 decades strong, mashallah,
Yeah.
and it will keep growing. So towards the end, since we really have to wrap up this segment in 5-ish minutes, I want you to give out a message to all your viewers right now, because I'm pretty sure each and every single person would love to be a part of this cause and would love to help, making Pakistan stronger. This is your camera, please take the lead.
So there are a number of ways in which you can donate for the Shaukat Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospitals in Lahore and in Peshawar, and now also in Karachi. You can donate 100 rupees, which is called our Donate a Brick campaign. You can donate 5 lakh rupees, 500,000 rupees, to become a founding donor, in which case your name or the name of a loved one or a family member will be inscribed on the founding donors monument, which we have in Peshawar and Lahore, and there'll be a similar one in Karachi.
Wow.
20 lakh rupees or 2 million rupees upwards, you can dedicate a room or a particular area of the hospital, such as an operating room or a ward or a diagnostic facility. Our website, which is www.shaukatkhanum.org.pk, has all the details of how you can donate for infrastructure as well as for equipment, starting from $100 all the way up to $1 million or more. There's a phone number within Pakistan, 0800 11 555, which you can call for further details, and also which you can call if you want to have a donation picked up from your home. Our representatives will pick up your donation and also issue you with a formal receipt there and then.
Brilliant.
Finally, just a small one, you can send a blank SMS on 7770 and donate 20 rupees.
I think I'm going
Wow.
to do that
I think-
right now.
Right
so
now, let's
a
do that.
blank text message on
7770.
7770.
The sweetest thing actually is, so one of my fans just
So
asked
how do
recently-
we so we send a blank message? It's not going. So I just
So
put in
press
space.
the space bar.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Done
So one of my fans actually sent me a screenshot of a donation they made to Shaukat Khanum. It was a small one, whatever they could afford, with my name and prayers about
Oh,
me.
it's
And
lovely.
and although it wasn't for me, but it made me feel so special, and I really hope it gets to the right person. So towards I want
I've
to
even
mention.
received a reply, so I'm going to read it out for
Okay.
people out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you, sorry, I don't think I should talk much.
Okay, so hold on. I know you're having trouble. So, ladies and gentlemen, just very quickly want to mention this particular segment. We spoke about breast cancer, but Shaukat Khanum Memorial treats a lot of different kinds of cancers. You can go to their website and visit as well. And since doctors have mentioned that a lot of people who donate are expatriates or diaspora for that matter. Roshan Bank account is such an easy way to actually deal with this stuff right now. Send all your money to Pakistan, to your family members, to your loved ones for donations, whatnot. So check that out as well. On this note, we're heading out to a very short break. We'll be back with such an inspirational story, and I am not going to reveal it. You really have to stay tuned for it. But thank you so much, Dr. Saab,
Thank
for
you
being
both.
here,
Thank you, sir.
Thank
for
you
the
for having me.
awareness, and for these beautiful presents. They come with a message, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in, less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Good morning. Stay
Did
tuned.
you have a glass of water?
Yes, let's do it.
Sitar is a plucked stringed instrument used in Pakistani classical music. The instrument flourished under the Mughal Empire. Sitar is named after a Persian word, setar, meaning three strings. It derives its distinctive timbre and resonance from sympathetic strings, bridge design, a long hollow neck, and a gourd-shaped resonance chamber. There are many popular modern styles of sitar, offered in a variety of substyles and decorative patterns.
Watch ICC T20 World Cup live on PTV Sports. Game on है.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for everybody who just got tuned into PTB World. You watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, amazing, superb, talented Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. Obviously, I'm a little bit under the weather. Almost everybody's feeling it. You know, there's irritation in your throat, and you know, while you're saying something, so you all of a sudden, you know, you kind of start to cough as well. So please make sure, first of all, if you have flu, please make sure that you do not shake hands or kind of go meet or grab anybody as well. You know, even because of COVID, it's very important to stay away, maintain your distance, because even with flu, if you shake hands or probably, you know, go hug somebody, you can kind of give it to them as well. So please make sure that you kind of keep attentive on that. One of our producers has got flu, and since I have gotten flu as well.
I hope everyone gets well soon.
Exactly, but we hope that everybody gets well soon. But earlier, ladies and gentlemen, we were in conversation with the Chief Executive Officer of Shaukat Khanum, where we actually talked about Pinktober, since you know, we're coming towards the end of October as well. So we kind of wanted to wrap it up, because breast cancer, ladies and gentlemen, is 100% curable if kind of you figured it out in time as well. But there are people, you know, he said that, you know, that the budget for the two hospitals which already exist of Shaukat Khanum was 16 billion or 19 billion rupees. And he was so thankful to the people of Pakistan that they were coming together and kind of making sure that their people were actually going to get treated. Now imagine, ladies and gentlemen, that to have such a success story, obviously we need successful individuals. And there are successful individuals who kind of against all odds make sure that they are going to be a source of inspiration for millions and millions of people out there in the world.
Right, and Shahzad, you know what this makes me think? First of all, I have to mention over here, this is such an inspiring story, and I mean, I'm so glad that my team actually went after this story and, you know, managed the segment as well.
Thank you.
So this just made me realize, and I feel like we need to talk about it, how many times are there, for me, okay, I'm going to speak on behalf of myself alone, on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, the amount of times that I tell myself, ये मैं नहीं कर सकती, ये मुझसे नहीं होगा, or you know, or this is an adversity that happened in my life and I'm not able to do something now, or just to feel hopeless for that matter, or just to feel not being able to do something for that matter. Imagine what that makes you feel, right?
Exactly.
And then there are so many times when I myself am so weak in such moments as well, and I look forward to someone, or I look up to someone to give me inspiration or give me some sort of motivation so I can come out of my hard times. But then again, I feel like, I mean, alhamdulillah for everything, right?
Yep.
Because again, we need to talk about people who have it so much harder, but they are so great at dealing with it. And this very person who is here with us in the studios today, actually, she's so strong. I'm saying that because unlike a lot of people, she did not give up on anything at all that life was throwing at her. any sort of adversity life threw at her, she stood strong in the face of life. I mean, and she's here today. She's been published on BBC and similar other channels as well. And now she's here to share her story. So let me just tell you, all of you out there as well, you really have to sort of stay in your seats for this one, because इस segment से जो inspiration आपको मिलेगी, आपका पूरा दिन और पूरी जिंदगी बहुत अच्छी गुजरेगी.
Exactly, and there's a reason, ladies and gentlemen, and I think that her parents actually did a great job as well, because the doctors, when she was born, the doctors kind of told her parents that that you really need to get rid of this baby girl, and alhamdulillah that they kind of had faith in Allah Almighty, and that they raised her with whatever they had to kind of share with her as well. And today she's actually a student of BS English.
Wow.
She operates her own laptop. She kind of goes wherever she wants to, and she's enjoying a healthy life. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody whom we know as differently able, but she is Miss Kiran Ishtiaq. Hello Kiran, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I am fine.
Thank you very much. Bahut shukriya. So ladies and gentlemen, we will actually be kind of interpreting what she's saying, that too in English. But I'll have to pose questions in Urdu so that she can kind of give us some good answers, whatever she feels at heart.
And also, I want everyone to enjoy this segment, everyone in Pakistan and outside too.
तो किरण, मेरा आपसे जो सबसे पहला सवाल है, तो सबसे पहला बहुत बहादुर, और आप एक ऐसी बेटी हैं पाकिस्तान की जिससे आज बहुत सारे लोग बहुत सारी इंस्पिरेशन, बहुत सारी मोटिवेशन लेंगे.
थैंक यू सो मच.
तो सबसे पहले मुझे ये बताएं कि जब आपके वालिदैन को डॉक्टर्स ने कहा कि जी इस बच्ची को ख़त्म कर दें खुदा न खास्ता, तो वालिदैन का तर्ज अमल क्या था, उन्होंने क्या सोचा, और फिर जैसे जैसे आप बड़ी होती चली गई, चैलेंजेस को ओवरकम करती चली गई, आपको कैसा लगना शुरू हो गया?
जी बिल्कुल, मेरे पैदा होने पे डॉक्टर्स ने यही कहा था कि बच्ची आपकी इस तरह की है, तो ये किस तरह लाइफ में सरवाइव करेगी, आपके लिए भी बहुत मुश्किल होगा, उसके लिए भी बहुत मुश्किल होगा, तो हम अभी से इसको ख़त्म कर देते हैं. तो मेरी अपनी फैमिली ने फिर जो है उस टाइम मुझे सपोर्ट किया, और उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, हमारी बच्ची है, जिस तरह की भी है हम घर लेके जाएंगे हॉस्पिटल से. और फिर उस टाइम वो मुझे घर लेके गए, और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह उन्होंने पूरे तरीके से मेरा साथ दिया जिस तरह से देते हैं. और मेरी मदर्स भी मतलब चली गई थी, तो फिर जो है मेरी दादो और मेरी फूफो ने मुझे इस तरह से पाला, जो भी किया. और उसके बाद फिर बस मैंने जैसे ही होश संभाला तो मैंने कहा कि मुझे पढ़ना है. बस पढ़ने का जुनून सर पे सवार हो गया, और दूसरों को पढ़ते हुए देखती थी, तो मैंने कहा क्या हुआ अगर मेरे हाथ और पाँव नहीं हैं, तो हाथ पाँव के बगैर भी तो ज़िंदगी गुजारी जा सकती है. और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह लाइफ मेरे लिए एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज था.
Alhamdulillah, that's great. I'm going to stop you over here because I'm going to translate it for all those people out there in 46 different countries. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, that she's actually telling us that unfortunately her mother even passed away. So I think the credit goes to her popo and her grandmother as well. And not just that, so when she actually got the consciousness, while she was growing up, she thought that okay, everybody's studying, I need to study as well, and life is literally not a challenge now for her. That's what she's trying to say. But the kind of motivation she has while she's speaking is something everybody kind of needs to look at as well. And a huge shout out to Pupos and to the Dadi as well, because they really need to be in love with their brother and son. Likewise, and obviously Kiran as well, because they have been the ones looking after her. And they, even when the doctor said that it's going to cause a lot of problems for you in near future, they kind of refused and put down whatever the doctor was saying. But how stupid can the doctor be, who actually came up with this idea on telling the parents that you really need to get rid of this kid. I mean, why should you? Because I have a very relevant example to share, and that is that while my wife was pregnant, I still remember that we went for an ultrasound, and the doctors told us that that your baby has actually got a disease or an illness which we call a dandy walker. So in dandy walker, what happens is that the upper side of the brain is not connected with the lower side of the brain, so they do not have any balance, they cannot sit, they cannot talk, and we were all very worried. And at that point of time, I was like, whatever Allah is going to bestow upon me, I will always be ready for that as well. But alhamdulillah, she's fine, she's great, and it was the ultrasound technology which I think kind of got us confused as well. Yes.
Oh wow.
But yeah, please go ahead.
Well, of course, I think we just need to sort of mention over here, we need to, that it is always the doctor's responsibility to do mention whatever the conditions are going to be. So I think the doctor did their job. But
I mean, they kind of told the parents that you need to get rid of the child.
They must have given the option, and again, the parents have the last call. No one can listen to the doctor unless they want to. So your family is, mashallah, amazing, Kiran. They are so supportive, yes. But now I want to talk about, so I mean, it's really good. Kiran loves studying and she started studying at an early age, and now she's also pursuing her bachelor's as well. But I want to ask her what her favorite hobbies are. So Kiran, क्या अच्छा लगता है? पढ़ाई के अलावा hobbies क्या हैं? क्या करने में मजा आता है?
पढ़ाई के अलावा पेंटिंग करती हूँ।
हाँ, very nice.
और उसके अलावा कभी-कभी पोएट्री भी कर लेती हूँ।
Oh, I wish हमें पहले पता होता. So Kiran is also sort of a poetess. I think I'm going to take the moment and request her to share a few lines.
True, sure.
कुछ याद है lines आपको? कोई share कर सकती हैं हमारे साथ?
इस टाइम फिलहाल नहीं।
Oh, चलो next time inshallah.
जी,
Okay,
But
that's
great.
wonderful. But now, you know, you're actually studying BS English, which we believe is wonderful. You know, I've seen your videos of using laptop. I've seen your videos of kind of walking as well. कैसे कर लेती हैं आप ये सब? ये बताइए आप।
So strong, माशाल्लाह. You have to
बस ये तमाम जो हुनर हैं वो मुझे अल्लाह पाक की तरफ से मिले हैं, क्योंकि शायद दुनिया में आके मैंने ये सब कुछ करना था और कामयाबी मिलनी थी मुझे, क्योंकि अल्लाह पाक ने अगर मुझे हाथों और पाँव के बगैर पैदा किया ना, तो उन्होंने दुनिया में मेरे लिए ज़रिया बनाना था। तो फिर उन्होंने मेरे जो अंदर है वो पढ़ाई का जो जज्बा था वो पैदा हुआ, और फिर उसके बाद मैंने स्टार्ट किया।
तो क्या सोचती हैं कि इंशाल्लाह जॉब वाइज या आगे जाके करियर वाइज क्या करना चाहती हैं?
इंशाल्लाह अभी बीएस कर रही हूँ और उसके बाद मैं सीएसएस करना चाहती हूँ।
Oh
Wow,
wow,
that's wonderful, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
So Kiran over here actually is sharing her story, and she's like that. You know that if Allah has actually sent me to this world, you know, He will finally have ways for me to kind of succeed
that's the
and grow
right
in life.
approach.
Yeah, and this is the right approach as well. And not just that, you know, she actually is studying BS English, and she wants to attempt for CSS as well. So अगर इंशाल्लाह आप CSS में कामयाब होती हैं, कौन सी सर्विस में जाना चाहेंगी?
मैं असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर।
Assistant Commissioner हल्की तो बात ही नहीं आ रही है हमें माशाल्लाह से, and we want to wish you best of luck. So she want to kind of attempt the CSS examination, and she wants to become an assistant commissioner, rule the city, and kind of look forward to everybody and anybody out there. लेकिन ये कहना भी गलत नहीं होगा कि ज़िंदगी में ऐसे मौके ज़रूर आए होंगे जहाँ पर आपको लगा होगा कि यार मैं ही क्यों, या मेरे साथ क्यों ऐसा हुआ। तो तब उस सिचुएशन में या उस कंडीशन में आप बाकी और इतने सारे लोग हैं, मैं आपको बताऊं ये सिर्फ ऐसे ही नहीं है कि आप ऐसे पैदा हुए हैं तो ऐसे, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जिनके पास सारी चीज़ें, वो भी ऐसे मसले मसाइलों में फंस जाते हैं जहाँ पर उनको लगता है कि यहाँ से कोई रास्ता बाहर नहीं है। उनको आप क्या आज पैगाम देंगे? मैं जरा पहले बता दूं कि मेरा सवाल है क्या। So everybody is out there, ladies and gentlemen, you know, there are people, all sorts of people, everybody's is differently abled, you know, this is how I want to refer to it as well, and everybody kind of hits the bottom or dead end as well, and there comes a time when they kind of look, or they even stop looking forward in terms of that, okay, you know what's going to happen next as well. So I'm actually asking Kiran that when, God forbid, if she actually came across such a situation, what kind of solutions did she come up with? Please Kiran बताइए।
जी सबसे पहले तो जिस तरह की मेरी लाइफ गुजरी है तो जो है मैंने बहुत सारे लोग कहते थे कि ये नहीं कर सकती, तो घर वाले भी एक जगह पे आके तो एक दफ़ा उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि बेटा आप नहीं कर सकते, बस अब आप मैट्रिक हो गया तो बस। तो उसके बाद मैट्रिक में मेरा एडमिशन नहीं जा पा रहा था, तो उसमें फिर मैंने सोचा कि मैं क्या करूं, मैं बहुत रोती होती थी कि मुझे पढ़ना है, मेरा एडमिशन क्यों नहीं हो रहा।
प्राइवेट कर रहे थे आप?
प्राइवेट कर रही थी मैं, और फिर बहुत मुश्किलों से जाके मेरा एडमिशन हुआ, और वो दिन मेरे लिए खुशी का सबसे बड़ा दिन था, क्योंकि मुझे यकीन हो गया था कि अब मैं आगे जाऊंगी। और फिर घर पे मैंने तैयारी की प्राइवेट, और फिर जब मैंने मैट्रिक के एग्ज़ाम दिए तो मेरी फर्स्ट डिवीज़न थी। और उसके बाद फिर मैंने सोचा कि मैं कर सकती हूँ, तो फिर मैंने करके दिखाया। और जितने भी मेरे लाइफ जो मेरी थी ना वो बिल्कुल अंधेरों में थी, लेकिन उसमें कुछ लोग ऐसे आए कि उन्होंने जो है मेरा साथ दिया और मुझे ऊपर पहुंचाया, और उनमें असद महमूद साहब का नाम मैं लेना चाहूँगी। और उसके बाद फिर जी बिल्कुल, और उसके बाद फिर जैसे ही मैंने ये सब कुछ किया तो मैं अपने देखने वालों को यही कहूँगी कि मेरे हाथ भी नहीं है, पाँव भी नहीं है, तो ज़िंदगी मेरे लिए एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज थी, लेकिन मैंने उसको सोचा कि मैं करके दिखाऊंगी। एक अंदर मेरे जो जज्बा था उसने मुझे ये सब कुछ, और जो डॉक्टर्स ये कहते थे ना कि इस बच्ची को ख़त्म कर दें, उनको आज मैं यही कहना चाहूँगी कि कोई भी चीज़ ना दुनिया में बेकार नहीं होती। अल्लाह पाक की हर बनाई हुई चीज़ जो है वो किसी ना किसी काम के लिए होती है। और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अब मैं जैसे ही मेरा बीएस कंप्लीट होगा मैं आउट ऑफ कंट्री जाऊंगी और अपने इस मिशन को जो है कंप्लीट करूंगी, और अपने जितने भी डिसेबल लोग हैं ना मैं उनके लिए कुछ ना कुछ करना चाहती हूँ।
Wow.
मैं अपनी
Kiran,
जितनी
you
भी
will get so many scholarships as well, mashallah.
यस
है ना?
और बिल्कुल, और मैं जितनी भी अपनी आगे वाली ज़िंदगी है ना, जितनी मुश्किलात मैंने फ़ेस की हैं, जितनी मुश्किलात मेरे सामने आई हैं, जिस तरह की ज़िंदगी मेरी गुजरी है ना, मैं कहती हूँ कि आने वाली जितनी भी मेरे जैसी किरण हो ना, उनकी ज़िंदगी ऐसे ना गुजरे, उनकी ज़िंदगी में रोशनी भर दे।
आमीन सुम आमीन।
इंशाल्लाह,
और
and
ये
let me-
वही किरण है ख़वातीन व हज़रात जो आने वाली हर किरण की जिंदगी के अंदर इंशाल्लाह किरण नहीं सूरज बन के आएगी इंशाल्लाह, and this is what we want for everybody. Would you want to translate what
Yeah,
Kiran
yeah.
just said?
So in it just so Kiran was mentioning one of her brightest days of her life when she actually got registered for her matriculation exams as well, and then she cleared them in first division. It's amazing, mashallah. There's no doubt in her intelligence. But I want to say over here, Kiran, जैसे आपने mention किया कि लोगों ने आपको बेकार बोला या समझा, ऐसी आई होप कि आप ये बात मानती नहीं है क्योंकि ये सच बिल्कुल नहीं है। एंड आई वांट टू से कि आप कितनी यूनिक हैं। सो एवरी आप ये सोचें सब एक जैसे हैं और आप यूनिक हैं। यू आर द ओनली वन माशाल्लाह।
Yes.
So definitely I feel like Allah has enabled each and every single person who He sent on the planet with some sort of powers. Sometimes they're secretive, sometimes they're hidden, and sometimes they're so strong they come out bursting, like in case of Kiran. She's so strong. I mean, her strength is and her courage is exemplary. mashallah.
Exactly, and at this point, I would actually love to kind of thank one of my very dear friends, Adil Mirza, because he's the one who actually called me yesterday. He was like that, that Kiran is over here at my place, and can you interview her? Can you have her on the show? It will be great for a lot of other people to learn. And then all of a sudden I called my producer Jamshed Saab and I was like, Jamshed Saab, we need to do this. And then Jamshed Saab obviously is very supportive. He was like, we should actually have the beautiful Kiran over here on the show as well. And it was great to be in conversation, Kiran. Tum jio hazaro saal, jug jug jio, inshallah. And all our prayers are with you. And this platform is for you. Whenever you have another achievement, whenever you become the assistant commissioner, or whenever you're going abroad, inshallah, you have to kind of let us know. And we will have you over here. Thank you very much for joining us. And a big shout out to her father, to her puppo, to
Entire
her
family.
dado, to the entire family who have been so supportive. This is the future of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, because we just never back down.
Absolutely. बहुत मज़ा आया किरण आपके साथ बात करके एंड वी होपिंग इंशाल्लाह आप दोबारा आएंगी और स्टोरीज के साथ जब आप खास करके बैचलर्स ख़त्म करेंगी अपना।
Inshallah.
Well, towards the end again, I want you all to sort of give us your feedback or suggestions of what you want to see in the next shows as well. And for that, you will have to write to us on a Facebook page, all social media pages with the name of.
Well, this morning.
Yes, and the repeat of this one you will be able to catch at midnight. Till the next time, take care. Good morning.
1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Good morning.